Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media. I have Motez from Expeditors here with me in the studio, and he was on our Saudi Arabia panel. Welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
I understand that you are no stranger to Breakbulk events.
Yeah, I've been to Antwerp several times, Bremen, Breakbulk here in Houston as well. So pretty much familiar with the Breakbulk.
That is fantastic. Have you been to this one in the Middle East before?
Yeah, I've been to Dubai here. I think last year and this year before that. When it was in Abu Dhabi, I did attend, but in the past 2 years I've been here.
Excellent. So, what's your impression?
I think it's good to see that it's gaining a lot of audience. I think yesterday I did expect the crowd that was here. Yesterday was a great day, and I think most of the discussion that we had were all positive, and the most important were always relevant people. So I think it's the right type of crowd that are available right now here, and it doesn't make sense just to have big halls, but people that doesn't touch the industry, where we have just a small hall here, but it's full with the relevant people within the region here, and I think that's great. Yesterday discussions were amazing.
Great. Good to hear. All right, so now tell me some of the high points of your Saudi panel.
Okay, so one of the main things that were important for us to discuss in the Saudi panel is the risk. When we speak about from freight forwarder perspective, the risk element in the industry now is high, specifically with the pressure that is put by the owners to the EPCs, which the EPC is trying to push down to the freight forwarder.
Is that economic pressure? Do you think it comes from that?
It for sure, the economics play a big part of it. We see the situation globally, and that's have a direct effect. And it just reflects to the payment terms, cash flow cycles, as well as the risk in the contracts, like liquidated damages and so on. And I think part of the main point that we discussed is how that affects us as a freight forwarder, and we are the smallest link for an EPC project. I think that was good to hear the panelist's opinion of that.
What's your perspective?
I think I think right now it's all cost driven, and EPC is trying to push that risk down to the freight forwarders, but there will be certain point or certain peak to it where the industry will start to understand that, okay, we cannot expect freight forwarder to accept this type of risks and still perform. So we ask the freight forwarder to provide good rate, to take a lot of risk, at the same time perform. And it's despite that this all looks good, but it's very difficult to have in the real world. And I think that there will be some point where the APC will start to see that that when they push to these two sides on the payment terms and on the risk side, the performance always will get affected. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time until the APC comes around and start to look closely also to the performance element, because at the end of the day, the performance element is turning to cost. So, yeah.
Right, exactly, and that could end up costing more in the long run.
Most of the time, it is. We saw that it's not only one example in the market. So I've been within the industry for the past 12, 13 years, and I saw that actually live a lot. But I still believe that still the cost pressure that the owners put on the EPCs still keep them driving to this direction. It's understandable that they are trying to take as low risk as they could and save cost as well as manage their cash flow. That's all makes sense. But when you put that on the smallest link on the full chain, that's a big issue.
Right. And that's the link that can break.
Exactly. And that can get everything then broken down. Because if you have an issue with the transportations, then the full project is getting delayed, and everything, it's like domino effect.
Yes, absolutely. So let's switch gears and tell me about the project outlook from your perspective throughout the GCC. You can certainly hit on Saudi, or in there other areas that you think you see opportunities.
So because we are looking into the full GCC right now, we see a lot of potential, specifically when we speak about Saudi, about the UAE, about Oman, Kuwait. Egypt is within the region, is doing really great. because I'm looking after the GCC and North Africa as well. So Egypt is doing great right now. We see a lot of potential, and I think Saudi will still remain the biggest project market for the region. There is a lot of contract getting awarded last year. I think last year was the contract value getting awarded. I think they were much better than 2016, 17, and 18, which is good. How fast are these contracts getting to real execution? This is still something that is difficult to predict, but that give us a lot of hope on the future, because there's projects in the pipeline that get it awarded still to be executed. Plus, you have a lot of projects that are put in plan. And when we look into the vision of Saudi Arabia 2030, it actually have everything falls into place. So we believe that the future we're gonna have a lot of projects, not only in Saudi, but once Saudi start to pick up, I think the full GCC will goes up. UAE has a lot of potential. Oman, Kuwait, we see also Bahrain, a couple of nice projects there that are very interesting. So I would say that the future look bright.
Great. We'll wrap it up on that high note. I love that. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.